What's up, everybody? It's Tyler here, and I'm joined by a really awesome guest. I actually met him at the Nashville Palace last month. Ethan Phillips joins me. Ethan, it's an absolute pleasure. How's it going?
Likewise, I appreciate you having me. I can't complain. How about you?
I'm doing well. At this moment right now that I'm talking, it's opening day, and that's a
Yep,
good thing for baseball fans.
yep.
Are you as
Good
excited
time.
as I am?
I do. If I do watch a sport, it's baseball. I don't keep up with many sports, but I played a little baseball growing up and stuff. And my grandpa, I vividly remember him when we were growing up. He always had the Braves games on the radio at the lake house, and so I every time I think of him, I just can't help but think of the Braves.
Well, I would like to thank Major League Baseball and the local blackouts for not letting all of us with smart TVs being able to watch the Braves or whatever team we root for. So thank you. Now, more importantly, you're not in baseball anymore, obviously. You're a country music singer.
Lord no.
Anyway, you're a country music singer. You are not the ordinary country music singer. You're more old-fashioned. And that's right in my wheelhouse, as a lot of you know. Now, Ethan, how did you get this old school country kind of style? You've got this soulful voice that I'm going to talk about a lot, but it country music is all about storytelling and all
Yeah.
about putting heart into your songs, and you do that perfectly.
Well, I
So, who
appreciate
did you draw that influence from?
it. Uh, kind of, I guess, a little bit of a wide variety of things, but I mean, growing up, my first major influence that I can think of, first person that I was really drawn to as a kid, was Brad Paisley's early stuff. I really loved his. I vividly remember having the Mud on the Tires record and Who Needs Pictures, and those two CDs. I just wore them out. I listened to them all the time, and of course, as I got older, I collected his other ones and everything. And so, Brad's older music is definitely a big influence on me, and also I'm a huge fan of Don Williams. He's a really big influence of mine, and so between the two of them, and just uh, over the course of my life, of my dad's music, my mom's music, kind of influencing me, I've just kind of found my own taste for it, I guess, and I just love guys like Roger Miller and Keith Whitley and Merle Haggard and all those older singers like that. That's my favorite. I just you can't get any better than that. There's a reason that they're so revered by so many, is because they're the best. And so between that, and I grew up northeast Georgia, so around a lot of bluegrass and stuff like that. And I grew up around a lot of gospel music, singing in churches and stuff. And so uh, that just kind of a wide variety of stuff. And also somewhere along the way, I discovered a lot of my mom's uh, old records of old singer songwriters from the 60s and 70s, like Harry Chapin and James Taylor and Jim Croce and Dan Fogelberg and all those guys, and just fell in love with them. I love all those singer songwriters. To me, uh, something I've always tried to kind of mix is taking those James Taylor kind of stuff, chord structures and melodies and that kind of stuff, and just applying country stories to them, I guess. And that's just what I've tried to do with it all. But yeah, kind of all over the place. But that's a little bit of it.
Hey, it's a good mixture. And now you've sparked an idea in my mind. I think you might have trouble coming up with this, but if you combine those two things that you just described together, that James Taylor sound or like that Brad Paisley sound,
Yeah.
if you pick an artist from the folky kind of music that your mom grew up listening to and the kind of
Mhm.
country that your dad grew up listening to and have two singers sing together on a song, do you have like an idea of who those two artists would be?
Oh man, that is tough. Huh. I tell you, just for the fact this is the first thing that popped in my head, I don't know if this is my ultimate decision, but Jerry Reed has a Jim Croce tribute record, and I love it. I love Jerry Reed's music, and it's just called Jerry Reed Sings Jim Croce. But I would love to have heard them do a song together live.
That
Would
would
have
have been
been
cool.
That would have been cool. Um, I have both all of their records individually, but the way Jerry does Jim's songs, they sound like Jerry Reed songs. I mean, just the way they're written anyway, and it's perfect. So that would be kind of interesting to me is to hear the two of them play together live.
I mean, there's so many different uh, combinations of artists that you could put together. It's so
Oh
fun
yeah,
to pick. That's
yeah. I
now you did mention try to tie in that older folky melody that James Taylor uses and put a country story to it. So now that we can shift a little bit to the original music uh,
yeah,
kind of thing, what does it look like for you in terms of putting out new music? Well, just putting out music in the first place.
yeah.
I know
I
you're excited to do that kind of stuff.
yeah, I am. I've kind of put it off for a long time. I've been writing songs since I was in high school, and I didn't really start taking it seriously till I was in college. Um, but over the course, especially, I moved to Nashville in January of 2020, basically, and over the course of the past few years, especially, I've just kind of written some songs that have really meant a lot to me in particular, and not that I, you know, think that I can do them better than somebody else per se, but they just mean a lot to me, and uh, I would just like to put them out. And so my plan is for this year at some point to cut some songs and start releasing some material, and obviously just do them as singles, I guess, and maybe lead up to an album or whatever. But I've got about 8 or 10 in mind that I really like, and and two just ones over the past few years. I my main goal when I moved here was to be a writer first and foremost, I guess, and I don't consider myself a great singer. I know I've told you this before, but I know some great
Too
singers.
humble. You're too
I
humble.
I know so many great singers, and I just feel humbled to just get to hang out with them sometimes. But they I just have got some songs, like I say, that I just feel like speak to me and speak to, they say to write what you know and all that stuff. And I've just got some of them that just feel so personal to me that I just want to do them. And so that's the plan at some point. And I've kind of played them out a lot, and, that they seem to get a pretty good reaction. So based off the reactions of over time and stuff like that, I kind of have a feel for, you know, uh, and some of them are just I don't know that I've really ever played out, but they just mean something to me. And if a song doesn't mean anything to me, I don't feel like I can make it mean something to anybody else if I don't believe it. So there you
That's
go.
that's a fair statement right there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm excited if you're going to put music out, obviously. And you guys should be too, whoever's watching this. And let me say something. Whatever Ethan says about not being a great singer, that's a load of dog duty. There's always a place in the world for those with softer voices.
Well, I appreciate it.
I could see you standing in the circle one day, so keep it
Oh,
up.
I'd probably pass out.
Well, if you did one day happen to sing in that very historical place, do you have an idea of what you'd want to sing? Non-original song. If you had to cover a song,
Oh,
what?
cover a song. Oh my gosh, Lord! If I had to cover a song, it would probably be a Don Williams song. I would probably pick just off the top of my head. I'm just gonna say this because first thing that pops in my head, probably like Good Old Boys Like Me or something like that. Just because to me that is one of the best songs. Period. Like that song is country music. Bob
Mhm.
McDill perfectly captured the human condition in that song, and I just think that that's as good as it gets. So if I had to pick a cover, that'd probably be it, right off the top of my head, anyway.
I'd say it's a good pick. I mean, you've got good taste in music, so really any pick you're gonna have is gonna be a good one. I ain't
Well,
too worried about that. Now, I did mention when we started this that we finally met in person at the Nashville Palace. We'd been following
yeah,
each other on Instagram for a while, but like I said, we met there and we hung out. And well, the Nashville Palace is a very historic place. A lot of you may not know Randy Travis was actually an employee there. He was a
Yeah,
dishwasher back in the day before he
yeah.
went big time. And I'm sure lots of stars have rolled through those doors to play or hang out, whatever it may be. Ethan,
Mhm.
if you could think of all the historical places in town and throughout the world, if you had a list of about 3 to 5 places that you'd love to play someday, do you have a list of what they'd be? Other than the Opry, because I know we just talked about that.
Yeah. You know, um, I don't know that I don't know that I've ever really thought of that much, but I'm just gonna say these because these are the first ones pop in my head. How about
Okay.
that?
That works.
I don't know that this is reaching too high. I don't know, but there was these. I always thought it'd be cool to play at that. There's a place down in Tennessee that's these caverns. And I used to watch this TV show called Bluegrass Underground, and they'd have all these concerts. It's like these caverns, like 300 feet below the ground. I always thought that'd be kind of cool. Um,
That's very cool. I've never heard of that.
yeah, it's called. I think the TV. I think the place is just called the Caverns. But um, heck, if we're going to dream big, let's dream big. Let's say Red Rocks or something. Let's say
Yes.
um, um, what's another one? I always thought it'd be cool just from a lot of the people that I grew up listening to who weren't necessarily country artists, but like that place, the Troubadour out west. I thought that would be kind of cool just because I've grown up watching so many um, performances from that venue and that kind of stuff. Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I've never even thought about that.
Well, we'll
I don't
take
know
some
that
magic.
those are stuff everybody else probably like Madison Square Gardens and all. Here I am, like, I want to play in a cave.
Dude, I'm from New Jersey and Madison Square Garden ain't even on my list.
Yeah,
Been there too much. Not that special to me personally.
yeah. I guess it's like that. You know, I remember there's a little venue at home, this little concert venue, and I guess it's just because I grew up going to so many concerts there, and it just feels like it. In my mind, it was like a lot of my heroes had played that stage. And it's just a little hole in the wall in the county beside me, but I always remember growing up. I'm like, I'd love to play here someday, and it's not even like it's a, the biggest stage in the world. It's just like to me that'd be cool because it's something I've grown up around, and it's like I don't know,
Sure.
seem close to home.
Well, before we go, you talked about how big of a Brad Paisley fan you are,
Yeah.
and he's known for having funny songs and funny meanings to
Oh yeah.
a lot of things. So we're gonna do something that could be interpreted as pretty comical, in my opinion.
All
Now,
right.
we're gonna pick 3 songs,
All
and
right.
I know I'm a big foodie. I know you are too. We've talked about food a lot.
Yeah.
And
I didn't get this big not eating.
what?
I didn't get this big not eating.
Well, anyway, we're gonna play this little game here, trying to be funny with it. Ethan, I mentioned that you've got a very soulful voice, and in that honor, you're gonna pick your 3 favorite soulful songs. It doesn't matter what genre it is, just what
Okay.
songs you interpret to have a lot of heart and soul in it.
Okay.
And that soul and that song must each of them must be represented as you got to picture it like you're you know what's coming. You got to picture that song like it's a background song to a comfort food or soul food meal. So like if you think of like, oh,
Oh gosh.
yeah, I'm eating shrimp and grits. I've
Yeah.
got Close Your Eyes as my background song to that. You got 3 of those? Let's hear them.
Oh gosh. I can name my favorite foods right off the bat. I can tell you. I know it. One of them's got to be crab legs. I absolutely love crab legs. Um. Now I feel like I got to pick a beach song because we're talking about crab legs. And these are just some of my favorite songs. I don't know if we're picking like absolute favorites. These are the first thing that popped in my head. I'd say if I was sitting there eating crab legs, probably one of the best songs you'd be listening to is like Jimmy Buffett, Pirate Looks at 40 or something like that.
I knew you were gonna say Jimmy Buffett. I was hoping you.
And yeah, um, that's my favorite Jimmy Buffett song. But yeah, every time I go to the beach and eat crab legs, I just sit there and think about that kind of stuff. Anyway, Something else. Let's see. Um, I mean, I gotta say chicken. I eat chicken all the time in about any capacity that you can have chicken. Let's just say chicken in any form. Um,
Dino chicken too.
what?
Dino chicken nuggets. It's been a
Dino
while.
chicken?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the little
wow
kid
since
one.
I've had those. Yeah,
Yeah, I hadn't had them in a long time. We'll put those in here too. Dino chicken nuggets. We'll say like, or like a good bologna sandwich. And that Alan Jackson song, I still like bologna. I remember getting a kick where I was hooked on bologna sandwiches like a year ago, and I just went like a week just eating nothing but bologna sandwiches. And every time I cooked one, I had that song playing in the back. Oh, what else could we pick? Um, dun, 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 dun. We got crab legs, we got chicken and bologna. Those were two different things. I didn't even give something for chicken. Let's give one for chicken. All right. Let's say like just some fried chicken. I'm gonna pick uh this is hard, man.
I got one.
What you got?
Where I come from,
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
or chicken fried.
Here, yeah, that one pretty that
Pretty
one,
generic.
yeah. I don't know. Have you heard that Brad Paisley song That's Love? I'm sure you've heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that talk about eating a steak tastes like a Goodyear tire. I don't know. That's hard. That's a good question though. That's at least two of them.
Well, speaking of Brad
Yeah.
Paisley, I'm gonna embarrass myself while you think. We
Okay.
talked about this back at the Palace, and I'd
Uh-huh.
just like to let you know, since we were talking about it, it happened to me again. I was driving down 24 back down here to Georgia.
Yeah.
What happens to me? I'm listening to Fifth Gear, and all I'm a person that listens to my music very
Oh,
loud.
I know where you're going with this.
I'm going the speed limit. Nothing wrong with it. But I see a cop car or anything, I get scared. I could be going 65 in a 70, and
Yeah.
I still think I'm going over the speed limit. But
Yeah.
what comes on when I'm driving? Wee woo,
Yeah.
sirens,
Mr. Police.
man. Scared the crap out of me for the fifth time in like a
Yeah.
48-hour span.
It used to scare my sister to death when we were driving the high. Of course, I was probably going pretty quick. And then like of course that song will come on or whatever, those sirens. I wonder how many people have that's had to be a very common thing with that song. Somebody's driving. Because that song,
Probably.
that whole record, like all I wanted was a car and all that stuff, just makes you want to drive fast. And
Yeah.
that's kind of smart. You have all these songs that you got this very road themed album, and then you have these songs that make you want to drive fast. And you got this song that scares the snot out of you, makes you think you're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clever.
It's very clear and scary.
I'm sure they probably planned that. I mean, he's pretty witty about stuff. I'm sure they probably thought about that.
Oh, I'm excited to hear this new album because he was talking about a preview of it, saying some of the stuff that's going to be on it, and it sounds like it's going to be funny.
I hope it's more in that vein of his old
A lot of
Brad.
people say that I have heard a lot of people say that his funny stuff is kind of tacky. I think
Yeah,
it's the best stuff. I love his
yeah,
funny songs. That's what
I
makes
do.
Brad Paisley Brad Paisley.
Yeah, because he can write these ballads that are just incredible, and these just tearjerker songs, and then at the same time he'll just hit you with one of these songs that just they're so clever, and
Hmm.
and nobody was doing that.
No.
Nobody had that tongue in cheek stuff, and even though some of them can come across goofy or whatever, they're well written. I mean, they're not just stupid. They're
Oh,
clever.
like little moments.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Even in that the bout, and it's got that witty, her falling asleep in his arm getting numb, and her cussing and stuff about backing his truck up and all that kind of stuff, and it's just even in the heartfelt stuff, there's that lightheartedness to it. It's so cool.
I love the way he writes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's Chris Dubois. They've
Chris
written a ton.
Paul and Kelly Lovelace
Mm-hmm.
and Lee Miller wrote a lot of
Genius.
his. Yeah, they are.
Now, have you
They're a
come
great
up?
team.
Have you come up with this genius song for chicken?
Oh, I kind of got off track. I was hoping you, to be honest with you, I was hoping you forgot.
Bigger fish to fry for chicken. All right,
All right, let's do that.
we'll go with that. Now, for the fans of Brad Paisley watching this, you will be fan of Ethan Phillips. And by
Well,
doing that, you can go follow him on Instagram, TikTok, and the rest of his social media platforms, whatever that may be. Get
yeah,
ready for original music because it is coming. And
coming.
I couldn't be more excited. I know you couldn't be more
Yeah,
excited.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, you heard the man. Go follow him. Ethan, it was a pleasure having you on here, and you're always
All right.
welcome back.
Well, thank you. No, I appreciate you having me. It's good to talk to you and get to hang out with you.
Absolutely. Everybody, we'll see you next time.
Be good.